Hi, my name is Claddy, and today let's talk about a brand that nobody is talking about anymore. By that I mean thebalm Cosmetics. Recently I have purchased quite a few items from thebalm. I have the setting powder, the Manizer highlighter, such an iconic highlighter, the Hot Mama blush, a liquid contour, and an eyeshadow palette. And I feel like thebalm is such an iconic brand. Like, the packaging, the aesthetic, the artwork are so provoking, and it's appealing in a retro futuristic way. A little bit sexualizing, I have to admit, but it definitely a brand with a clear directions of what it wants to be. Unfortunately, gone are the days that people were still into this brand. Literally nobody talk about this brand anymore. I haven't seen any new releases from this brand. Not too sure if it exists in certain parts of the world anymore. And in the dynamic of the new makeup world these days, we often hear about new makeup rather than people using their actual makeup collections. So I would assume there are certain population that are still using thebalm as a brand, but we don't hear about it anymore. It proves that it's not a viral brand, because the measurements of how good the product is right now is the virality, and that's just unfortunate, and it's a bit sad to hear. But I am grateful that I got a chance to get my hand on this product, because I haven't tried thebalm before, and when it was at its hype, which I would say was around 2017, 2018, I was so new to makeup. I saw the liquid lipsticks got listed on some of the websites that I could have access to, but at that point I probably didn't have enough resources to get my hands on those products. But now, so all of a sudden I found them, and I think it would be a cool thing to apply some of this product on my face. Right now I'm going to use all 5 of them, and just to show you how a brand can be so iconic at certain point in the history, but now is completely abandoned and forgotten. Let's take it as a makeup history sessions. Like, I wouldn't recommend you to go out and buy thebalm, because I think they're very good. If you don't like the idea of getting thebalm right now, like, I couldn't really force you. Or if you still have thebalm products in your collection and you're still using it, and you think that what I said about how they lost their hype was so wrong, well then, yeah, good on you. You can continue to use your beloved products. I just want to dive a little bit into what's really going on with thebalm, and how this brand shaped certain part of the makeup industry back in the day. Like, when I say back in the day, it's probably like 8-9 years ago, not too far along. But in makeup terms, and the way that we consume makeup right now, it's really feel like the last chapter, or like the last century of the makeup industry, which is quite intriguing of the time, like, when you think about it. But I will stop talking. I will immediately jump into applying this product, because it'll be interesting. Okay, I have moved a bit closer for the applications. The first product that I'm going to apply today is the Sexy Mama Anti-Shine Translucent Powder. Well, the packaging is very provoking. Like, it's not too much to me because I'm 26 years old, but you can imagine me when I was like 19, 18, around that time, these products were quite popular. I was like, am I allowed to have those makeup items in my collections? What if my mom found out? By that time I already moved out, but I'm Asian and my parents are Asian, so it was just that kind of like mentality. But right now I think it's an aesthetics itself. So to really put these images and these artwork on the packaging, I think they had to have like a very clear visions of what they want their brand to be. Even the packaging is very vintage. All of the details, this look like kind of like a magazine cover or something. So I think the product and the philosophy behind the brand in and of itself is a unique topic that pull people in at the time, you know what I mean? So it's not just the quality of the product. I think we are gravitating towards a brand, and like an art concept like this, not only because we believe the product inside is good, we want the whole philosophy behind it. That's one of the reasons why the balm got so popular back then, but it added to its detrimental decline in sales and popularity also because of this very specific conceptual meaning behind the product and behind the brand. That's why it comes and gone, because it's so intense. It's really hard to make it popular to the majority of the population right now that is using makeup. So yeah, I think it's a fair lesson to the balm that if you go all out in, you will attract a certain populations, but you have to accept that if the history has flowed to the next stage, it might not appeal to the majority of the public anymore. Anyway, I have used this powder quite a bit. It is a translucent powder, as in the claim. I don't think it has a lot of pigment. It does still show up to be this kind of like light beige color. If you have a darker skin tone, I think you will see the beige pigment show up on your skin. So it's translucent, but I don't think translucent means universal, and there's no such thing as universal powder that would work on every single skin tone of human to exist. I have been using it as both a setting and finishing powder, and yeah, obviously I have some concealer on my face already, and now I'm just using a brush to set the powder into my face. And I find that this powder is very natural. It's quite anti-shine, so you can expect a rather mattifying finish, but it's not overly powdery. I think because of the texture is very dense, the powder itself is pressed quite densely into the pan. That's why you won't pick up a lot of product with your brush, and when you press the brush on your skin, it doesn't transfer loads of powder on your face. So you might want to be a little bit patient with this powder if you have like extremely oily skin. But if you have oily skin, I think the best way to go is loose setting powders, not a pressed powder in a compact like this, because it will take you a while to set your entire face. I think the finish is very lovely. It's not as mattifying as what my oily skin would need. in summer, but I think there's a value in a powder like this that is mattifying but not too much, so you can apply it on top of your sunscreen. On some day I don't have any makeup on, but I think my sunscreen is so shiny, I would just take this powder and dust it across my face. Also because it's such a good shade for my skin as well, and I think I'm quite grateful in that sense that like I have this powder with a little bit of pigment. I can maybe give you a swatch. Hopefully you can see. Yeah. Maybe not, because the product is quite dense, quite compacted on the pens. So yeah, I didn't get to pick up a lot of product. It is developing a little bit of a hard pen, but I think it's very common for a lot of pressed powder products to develop a hard pen, especially if you have cream products underneath. You pick it up with a brush or a sponge and you go back to the pen with the moisture and other oil and hydro based products on the brush. It would cause the product to lump up. It's an easy fix, as you know. It is not a big issue to me, but you can tell I'm loading the powder up on my skin. Like, I have been going back to the pan a couple of times. I don't think this product is cakey at all after those few tries. I think in a way it's natural for the nature of the product. To say that it's blurring and airbrushing and finishing, it's not quite there yet compared to my LYS triple fix like blurring powder, the one in a triangle rose gold compact. That one is really lightweight and blurring. This one is kind of like a medium in that sense, but it's helped my complexion product dry out in a very natural way. So this is a utilitarian product to your daily purse or your daily bag or something, when you can just throw it in, maybe bring a small brush with you and you can use it to touch up your shininess throughout the day. And I think it's quite cute and compact. I'm not sure how sturdy it is to be thrown in the bag. It has a magnetic closure, but it's in a cardboard packaging. I think it's compact enough to my feeling is sturdy enough to be that like daily touch-up product. I quite like it, and I brought it with me to work a couple of times already just to help with the oiliness on my skin throughout the day. I think it's definitely a good powder, and it works as both a setting and finishing powder to different purposes or to different preferences that I have on different days. So I think it's very helpful, very versatile. It's worth the money for how much I can use it for different occasions. I have already set my face, but this is just how I do my makeup. I do my cream product on top of my powder, and so far I haven't had any major issues with product mushing around or mixing up weirdly to each other. So I will continue to do it because I'm going to apply this Bahama Mama Cool Contour liquid bronzer. So it's a liquid bronzer, but it has a cool undertone, so it's like a bronze tour, if you will. So it's in a tube like this with a doe food packaging, just like a liquid lipstick. So I'm gonna dot a few dots of product on my skin. It's very liquidy, like you can tell it's quite liquidy as I dot it on my skin. Like, yeah, it's almost like a sheer gel bronzer kind of texture. There was a warm contour shade as well, but I didn't get it because I feel like I might not need it. I have a lot of warm liquid bronzer on my collections already, so I don't really need another one. Like, I don't need a liquid bronzer duplicate in both cool tone and warm tone versions. I'd rather get something that nuanced enough, like it's a contour that you can double up as a bronzer, which is quite new as a product category to my collections, so that's why I picked it. But yeah, I happen to quite enjoy this product. It's very sheer and it has almost a dewy glossy finish. I think that's the reason why I quite like applying these kind of products on top of powder, so that it's not overly shiny or glossy, that I can still turn it into a velvety matte finish without taking away the pigmentations. If I had applied the cream underneath and the powder on top, the powder would dust away some of the pigmentation, some of the colors of the product. That's just my theory. But it's so blendable, very nice. And this side, it has dried down a little bit, but you can see it's still pretty easy to blend. Not as much as blendable as this side. I think this is the product that you might want to work with it a bit quicker because of the liquidy texture. I'm not sure if it's the water or the alcohol content in the product would evaporate and the pigment now staying on your skin more concentrated, and that would make the whole situation a little bit harder to blend. But I think with this one, it's quite forgiving. Yeah, let's try with this nose contouring thing. I put a little bit more product on this side by mistake, so now we want to try to, like, you know, like share the love of the product a little bit. But see, with that amount of product on such a small surface area, the blend is quite impeccable. I feel like this is such a great product that is so unlucky that nobody knew about it, or maybe it was already discontinued. But the Balm Cosmetic website is still there, so I believe that the brand is still selling some of its popular products, at least I hope. So I think people are just falling out of love with the Balm because, like I said, maybe this aesthetic is not the 2026 aesthetics anymore, so that's why nobody cares about it. And I think as a brand owner, it's such a harsh reality that you have to accept every day, that, or not just a brand owner, it's the human existing paradox that you have to love your identity enough to press on and to continue to create values to the society, maybe, but then it's a constant battle to accept that you don't do it for everybody else. You have to do it for yourself. And even when people fall out of love with you. Like when people don't love your values, your creations anymore, there is a reason to continue on that journey. And that's coming from me because I think thebalm is such a cool brand, and I didn't get to participate in that makeup history chapter when it was so popular, and we can all talk about thebalm in such harmony. But now it's just me in this corner of the internet talking about thebalm. It's quite sad. I think it's bittersweet. I don't say that it's sad, it's bittersweet, because I love thebalm and I purchased these products with my money with a clear feeling and nostalgia that I am in this phase of my life that I could try thebalm, that I could get access to these products and try them out as a 26 years old. And I know what I love, and I'm sorry. I had to pause for a few minutes straight just because there was a very loud cutting or drilling or welding sounds over that side of the construction site. But okay, we should come back. I think I was at the point when I said I was 26 years old, and I think I know what I like, and I know what I want to purchase, and I know what I want to apply to my face enough to know that the virality or the popularity of the product, whether the product is too trendy enough right now, doesn't affect me as much as I used to when I was 18, 19, because at that time I wanted to purchase the newest products, the fanciest product. I had to buy it from a high-end brand. But right now, I think thebalm is a cool brand, and I want to try the product from thebalm. That's all. And a quick recap for this cool contour liquid bronzer. I think it's beautiful. It adds such a healthy brown to my skin. I really hope that's the last time I had to pause for this video. Anyway, I was about to say that this product is really, really good. It has a beautiful glow to it. From the texture itself, not from any like shiny, sparkly particles that would look like weird on your skin, because you apply it around the perimeter of your face. You don't want like it too glittery. That's just my liking. I want my product, especially bronzer, to be glowy and healthy, not glittery, because where I place it around the perimeter of my face, I think this is kind of a perfect liquid cream bronzer texture to me. It's not too pigmented. It's liquidy and sheer enough to be thin out to make it a little bit precise. And because of the doe foot applicator, you can actually control where you place the product. And I would recommend to use a small brush. This is the brush that I use. Like, it's pretty small with a flat surface so that I can press it on and control where the product is blended out to. I think it's beautiful. It's not so long lasting because of the liquid texture, and because of the way that I apply cream liquid products on top of powder. It doesn't have that, you know, setting benefit when it stays underneath a powder. So I would say that is not very long lasting, but you can tell from the texture this is not a product that is meant to be so long lasting. It's a natural, easy, one and done, pretty effortless product. So I think this is one of my favorite liquid bronzer in my collections right now, and I am so glad that I got it from thebalm, especially the shade Cool Contour. The other shade was Warm Contour. I was eyeing it definitely after I realized that this product is so good for the texture that it is. I went back to that website and I checked it, and it's gone. So it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that I have this cool contour liquid bronzer, I know that I have other warmer contour in my collection that I can mix with this product to give it a warmer undertone. So I'm pretty happy with this bronzer. Like, you can tell how much I talk about it and how much I like it. It's such a great product overall. Okay, let's move on to some blush. The blush that I have right here is called Hot Mama Shadow Lash Blush. So I think you can use it either as a blush or a eyeshadow. I think it's already very universally understood that you can use any powder product anywhere on your face as you like. But yeah, they just put in the name, Shadow Lash Blush. So the shade Hot Mama reminds me a lot of NARS Orgasm. I have never tried that Orgasm shade. It's a bit awkward saying that word so many times. Now I would refer it as that shade. I've never tried that shade before, and I have never tried NARS blush formula. I've heard that they did a reformulation recently on their blush line, and a lot of people love that. So I got a lot of makeup already, but like in my heart, NARS Orgasm is still one of the blush shades that I really want to try. But now that I'm holding this on my hand, I was like, do I really need that shade? Because this is not my vibe. It's a light corally peachy shade with a lot of gold glitter in it. In the past, I tried, if you remember Benefit California, it definitely along that same family. Like, it's a peachy, corally, vibrant, almost orange shade with a lot of gold sparkle in it. And I wasn't a huge fan of that California shade, so I'm not sure if this blush is for me, but I think I would have the best luck to use this product as a topper rather than a blush, because it's gonna be quite shiny on my skin. I know that, so I think I'm gonna apply a little bit of cream blush first. I picked this Rose Ink lip and cheek color in the shade Daylily as a base today, so I hope that it would help with which is the depth of the blush. I do think that shade Hot Mama is a bit too light for me, and there's a chance that if I don't layer any blush with a little bit or a stronger pigment underneath, that one would look a bit hollow on my skin. You know, like it's gonna sit on top of my skin because it doesn't have any base pigment that stick underneath and become one to my skin tone. I know it is a very tricky concept to explain because I do not have the vocabulary to do it, but I think layering your blushes, layering even the texture of the blushes would help in situation like this when you're not sure if the blush is a good match for you or not, because it's so weird to me. Like, I have never had a blush like that before. It's almost a pigmented highlighter, I would say, and I'm not a fan of glowy blushes. Like, I love blushes, but there's something about extremely glowy blushes that is not a natural dew. So I like cream blushes. I do enjoy cream blushes, but I want the natural glow comes from the texture, the dewy shininess of the texture itself, not from glitters. So I'm a bit wary right now about that blush. That's why I'm trying my best to even like give it a good chance to perform. by applying this cream blush first. I've tried this cream blush recently, and I'm in love with it. I think it's very helpful. It works very well on my skin. In the website, I mean, I know we talking about the balm right now, but I just want to show you how much I love this Rose Ink lip and cheek color in the shade Daylily, because if I could do anything to make the balm blush show up better on my skin, to perform better on my skin, I would do it, to give it a fair chance. Maybe I don't use it in my conventional way of applying blush. I have to make some adjustments to it. So this shade is described as a rich, warm taupe. I think the warmth from the color itself would help with the intimidating corally undertone of this shade. So, okay, I think I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this blush using the same brush. I'm not sure if you can tell, but like, oh, look at all that gold shiny glitter. It's very fine though, so I don't think it would be such an issue, but I'll be careful. I will start off on the high point of my cheek. Okay, it definitely has a shine. This is a blush that I wouldn't bring it towards the center of my face when I have larger pores, because yeah, it will stick on top of it. I kind of want to do like a full swatch of this blush to see it like on its own. It's definitely quite light, and this is how much pigment you can get if you really load up the brush and pick it up directly from the pan. And as a standing alone blush, this is the shade that is gonna appear on your skin. It's tricky because when I look at this blush, I was like, oh, NARS Orgasm, and I want to try that shade, but maybe that's just not for me, or maybe there's an overspray of glitter. It doesn't seem like so. It does seem like they have put glitters all the way through in the powder, and giving that is such a light blush as well, it will make the glitter and the shine rather strong on my skin. Like, I can tell right now, because it doesn't have any pigment to conceal the blinding glitterness. That's why it's gonna look quite intense. Like, I think if you have like very light skin and you like extremely glowy products, this would be a blush for you. And maybe you have found that like NARS Orgasm is quite perfect for your makeup taste already. But I think to me, I like a deep, bruisey, berry, rosy blush. I like the pigment, not the shiny finish. So I think this would serve every once in a while as a blush topper to me, but not a blush. Because with the shininess, I won't be able to apply any other highlighter on top. So it is counterproductive, because I want to apply a pigmented blush. Not like pigmented, like a deep bruisey color blush, because that's kind of like what I like in a blush. Only because I love to over apply my blush. I have a heavy hand with a blush anyway, so I want to start with something a bit deep, a bit more pigmented, blend it out, and then every once in a while I would go on top of that with a glowy powder. I don't like blinding, very sparkly highlighters, so just something glowy. And this one, because of the color, is quite warm, it's not in the same family of the blushes that I like at the moment. I like I said, berry, muted rose, like a muted red colors. So this one, if I use it as a blush topper, the color doesn't quite suit with the actual blush color that I like. If I use it as a blush itself, it's light and too shimmering for that purpose. So I think this is not my favorite. No offense to the product itself, I think the glow is glowy and it's quite beautiful. Like, this would be the look that I really like 8 years ago when I loaded up with highlighters every day, but it's just not me at the moment, and the color is quite warm and coral, which is not my favorite color to wear as a blush. So it's a little bit of a miss for me, but I think it's just quite helpful to me to experience with that NARS Orgasm color family, to know that just because it's hyped doesn't mean it's the right shade for me. Okay, I would normally wear highlighters these days, but I got my hand on this highlighter. This is the Manizer, the Luminizer highlighter. I think it's very interesting. I think it's the glowy powder texture that I really like in a highlighter. I have tried it quite a few times already, and I think it's definitely beautiful, and it has a little bit of a gold champagne undertone. The feeling of the powder is quite powdery, but then when you shear it out, it's become very glowy. Like the pearls and the mica particles in it are very fine and very diffuse, so it almost have like a sheen to it rather than a sparkly finish. So I think this is a beautiful highlighter to my liking, because it's sheer. You can like apply it over a larger surface rather than have to like pinpoint it, because it's too sparkly and too glittery. But this is definitely a stronger sheen in my collections when it comes to a glowy powder highlighter type. So maybe tapping off the excess powder a little bit and go on with a little bit of powder first, just a little bit. I think it's extra shiny right now because of the Hot Mama blush, but I think you can still achieve a natural glow. This is a little bit too intense. Like, I'm not normally wearing this much highlighter. Like I said, this is so not me right now, but for the benefit of the video, I will go full on with it, because yeah, you need to see the full extent where the product can go. And a little bit on the tip of my nose as well. So I think this highlighter was, and hopefully has been, the favorite for a lot of people. I think for good reasons, because the texture is really, really nice. It's very lightweight and thin on the skin for how shiny it can get, but also still natural. So for a medium intensity highlighter, this is as natural as you can get without being too glittery and too beaming. It blends into the skin quite nicely, and the color itself, I think it would work for, I think, a wide range of skin tone. I wouldn't think that this is the highlighter for darker skin tone, just because of the powdery texture. It would leave a white cast on your face if you have a darker skin tone. But if you have light or even like a bit fairer. I think this color might be a bit too dark for fairer people's skin tones. But if you're round, light to maybe light medium skin tone, it would be a very good highlighter. Like I am right here right now in 2027, really recommend Mary Lou Manizer because it's a really damn good highlighter. And I don't even wear highlighter, but for people who don't wear highlighter, and if you want a little bit of intensity, but if you want your natural skin to glow through, I think this highlighter might be it. I think this highlighter might be the one. The last product from thebalm for today's video is this Miss New York 12 shade nude eyeshadow palette. So it came in a sleeve like this. It doesn't have a magnet or a plastic snapping mechanism. So it has a tag, a paper tag that you tuck in the other side of the palette and then you pull it up like this. So lift, tap gently to open. Make sure that you are very gentle with it because I could see in a very near future that this tag would fall off because it's just paper. Anyway, I hope that it doesn't affect the quality of these eyeshadow palettes because I think it's really, really good. It comprises of all of the neutral, nudie shades that I am enjoying wearing right now. It has warm tones, rosy tone, cool tone, a lot of mattes. The shimmers are not the stars of this palette, I have to admit, because they are not the usual sparkly, glittery shades that I every once in a while reach to right now. I think I'm into matte at the moment, so I'm not mad at the shimmer selections already. I think they are very on point with the rest of the palette. But the mattes, I think the selection of the mattes are just really, really intricate and thoughtful. Like you have this kind of like mustardy brown, and you have like a chocolatey brown, you have a charcoal brown, you have like a burgundy brown, and you have these lighter shades to use a transition shades as well. So you pretty much have the muted neutral palette that you want in this palette, and I think I didn't pay a lot for it as well. I think for the price that it is, or at least for the price that I pay for to get this palette, it's really, really high quality. So I already applied the eye look on this side of my eyes. I will do the same thing on this side. I started off with this shade. This is my favorite shade in the palette. It's called Hell's Kitchen. I thought it was Hell's Kitchen, but no, it's not. It's Hell's Kitchen. But yeah, I'm going to pick up the shade and just apply it on my crease as a transition shade. I think this palette is great for how soft it is. It's not the ultra pigmented indie matte eyeshadow, but maybe this is what you like. And if you like really soft, high quality matte eyeshadow that's thin and lightweight on your eyelid, that you can just like mess around and blend it back and forth, building up. And with neutral shades, you would mostly find these formulations rather than the ultra pigmented one. And because thebalm is still a mainstream makeup brand, I don't think they would go out and release such pigmented eyeshadow. So it's just a heads up that if you like really pigmented and saturated eyeshadow, you would have to skip this eyeshadow palette maybe. Recently, I have really enjoyed just like dragging my eyeshadow, especially my transition shade, out towards the temple like this and making it a little bit messy, but there's something about like really diffuse it to your brow bone and then drag it up a little bit, make it a little bit kind of like tied it in to the blush and the bronzer itself, make the look a little bit more cohesive and just a bit more artistic that way. I will dip into this shade. It's called Astoria of My Life. I don't know what Astoria means, but this is a beautiful cool tone gunmetal, bluish, purplish, gray. It's really hard to describe these shades, but yeah. So I'm gonna use it on the outer corner of my eyes. I like using some of the deeper mattes in this palette as eyeliners, but I don't think that I want to do an eyeliner look today, so I will use the deeper shade, especially this cool tone shade, to deepen my outer corner, to give my eye that depth and dimensions instead of applying an eyeliner. I think that's the plan. That's a good way to go, and I really like how the look turned out on this side, so I hope that when everything comes together it will look good. But it's a neutral eye look. Like, it's hard to mess up a neutral eye look compared to set a colorful eye look. And because the depth of these shadows are not that intense, and the tone is not strong as well, so you feel like they have a range of different undertones, but it's not too much, too over the top. Like this one is a mustardy brown, like I said, but it's not too yellow or too green. It's still definitely around the neutral side rather than the colorful side. So I think it's pretty easy to work with when it comes to the neutral shade, that if you work with the eyeshadow long enough, you know not to mess it up. And if you are just a beginner, I think it would be quite convenient to have this kind of palette as well, because it's every neutral eyeshadows that you need, adding a little bit of an interesting undertone to them as well. I will dip back into the shade Astoria of My Life just to deepen it up a little bit. I feel like it's still a bit hollow around the outer corner. Yep. And maybe I will add a little bit more on this side. No, I think this side would be good. I should stop overthinking my eye look. I should just, you know, go in, and who cares if you have uneven eye look? Like, it's at the end of the day, it's just me knowing the slight difference between the two eyes. And if it's look good, it's good. The slight difference won't change the overall feeling and the overall appearance of your makeup. So I think if you are working with high quality products to begin with, even when you mess it up a little bit, it's pretty easy and pretty undetectable to cover it up. The next shade that I use over this eye is this one. It's called Bleaker Weather. I don't know what it means. They are all 40s and 50s references. Or maybe they play with words or something. I don't really know what they mean. But this is a kind of a champagne rose gold light shimmer. So I will apply a little bit in the inner corner and in the middle of my eyelid with my finger and just tap it out. It's not a strong shimmer, and it's the balm. I don't think the balm is out there doing sparkly texture for a metallic eyeshadow. the look itself is, to me, I would call it quite mature. So it's definitely created for the kind of like more adult population, but no discriminations to anyone who enjoy the balm or enjoy this kind of makeup look. You can wear and play with makeup however you want it. It's just that I think the look and the aesthetic of the brand itself is very mature and very elegant in a way. So I think this palette would sell quite well if the brand is still on point and still popular at the moment. I think this is a great neutral palette, something that people are craving. That's just my very one-sided opinion, because I think we are doing more natural, more cleaner, more easy and done makeup these days. We are not interested in huge palettes anymore. And if we look at the way singles and cream eyeshadows having the best movement at the moment, that's not a very good sense in structures, but you know what I mean. Like, people are gravitating towards individual eyeshadows. So having a neutral eyeshadow palette like this with a range, with a cool selections like this, would provide people of a middle of the road selections. It's not single eyeshadows, it's not a full palette, it's a neutral eyeshadow palette with a selections that you can go to each pan individually and pick one shade and just apply it, and then everything will look quite good. I think that this palette would be quite popular if the brand is still popular and still relevant. That sounds a bit hard. It sounds like we are canceling the balm or anything, but I just hope that if you still own this palette or similar palettes like this, I hope that they still doing well, and I hope that you have a good time and a pleasant time playing with your palettes, because I think palettes are still relevant. I think palettes are still good. Neutral eyeshadow palettes, colorful eyeshadow palettes, if you still enjoy playing with them, there's no point of listening to the virality voice somewhere out there in the internet that say, oh, it's viral and you have to believe it. Eyeshadows is out, it's not popular anymore, you shouldn't wear it. I think that blasphemy. And I'm speaking from my opinion because I got this palette and I love it. I hope that if you have any similar palettes like this, or if you have this particular palette and if you enjoy it, I really hope that it deserves the love that it deserves. So I think I have talked about everything that I want to talk about these products in this video when I applied them already. So I'll just do a quick recap to see whether I recommend each of these products or not. First of all, the Sexy Mama Anti-Shine Translucent Powder. Great powder for touch-up. Has the potential to develop a hard pan, but it's an easy hybrid setting and finishing powder. Recommended if you don't have much of an oily skin. You can just throw it in your purse and reapply it throughout the day to prolong the wear of your makeup. Or if you don't wear makeup and you are a bit oily like me, you can use it as a anti-shine mattifying powder on top of your sunscreen. So this is a product that I would recommend if you can find it, only if you can find it and you want to purchase it. Then we get the Bahama Mama Cool Contour Liquid Bronzer. This is, I think, the most useful and in a way my favorite product from the brand that I tried so far. I think it's so versatile, it's beautiful in the finish, in the texture, in the blendability, in the tone itself. It's a cool contour like in the name, so it's not too warm, too orange or anything. It's a neutral liquid bronzer that works effortlessly on your skin. I recommend this one as well. The thing that I don't recommend is this Hot Mama blush, because the color is not for me. It's not the color family that I'm gravitating towards at the moment. It doesn't work that well on my skin tone for how light it is and for how shiny it is. It's just not my favorite type. Not my favorite type of makeup applications at the moment. So if you enjoy this color, if you enjoy really glowy highlighter, if you enjoy NARS Orgasm, this might be a good addition to your collection, not mine. Recommend the highlighter as well. The Mary Lou Manizer highlighter, I think it's beautiful. It's a shiny glowy powder, so I look at my collections, I have glowy powders as well. It's my favorite formula of highlighter to put on my skin at the moment because it's not too intense, but this one has a bit more power in the way that it's still slightly shiny on the skin, but not too obvious, not too much. Really like the color as well. The color works really great on my skin, and obviously I love the eyeshadow palette. These are all of the shades that I wear all the time in the last couple of years. They are muted, they are desaturated, they are easy to work with. You can just sweep it on your eyelid, blend back and forth. Doesn't have to articulate your movement too much. It's soft, it's natural, it's not pigmented. So if you expect pigmented eyeshadow, this is not it. But if you like me, if you like simple makeup look like this, and slowly the eye look is not the focus of your makeup aesthetic anymore, that would be it. It would be the one and done, two and done eyeshadow palette to you, because you can look at it and you can use it in an arrangement and in the format of single eyeshadow. Just go to each of them individually and then just leave it like that. I think this is a great eyeshadow palette. That's everything. I think that's 5 of the products from the balm that I have tried lately. I have applied all of them to my face in this video, and I hope that it will give you a rather new and refreshing point of view on the balm, as someone who have never tried the balm before but now tried it in 2026. So yeah, I hope this video is interesting enough for you, because if nobody talk about the balm, maybe this is a video in a very long time of someone still trying to talk about the balm. Once again, I'm Cloudy, and hopefully we see each other again. Bye.